With WoW Season of Discovery well underway, here are some quests you may want to consider doing to not only help you perhaps with leveling, but also with PvE later on in dungeons or even the raid, and even PvP. And getting right into it, first up we have class quests, and these can be periodically obtained from your respective class trainers whenever you reach the required level to be able to unlock them. And they're often extremely useful, not only for granting relatively powerful gear, but oftentimes for giving you even new spells to learn. For example, warlocks get their demon summons, which are obviously a huge power spike starting from the imp and later on with the voidwalker. And then, for example, for shamans, they actually start to unlock their totems with their class quests, starting with the earth totem and so forth. So be sure to visit your class trainers pretty frequently, not only to learn new ranks of spells or just new spells, but also to check for new class quests, and definitely consider prioritizing these above all else. And on to the second category of high priority quests, we have dungeon quests. Not only the ones that will give you, again, gear, but also other ones that you can pick up if you're going to be grinding out some dungeons anyway. They're going to be giving you some good experience alongside that. And fortunately, in Season of Discovery, at least for the first phase before level 25, there are only a handful of dungeons you need to keep track of. Starting with, on the Horde side, we've got, of course, Ragefire Chasm right in Orgrimmar, and then the Wailing Caverns, although the Wailing Caverns can also be done by the Alliance. And then later on, we also have Shadowfang Keep. And on the Alliance side, we actually have Deadmines, and then, of course, Wailing Caverns that you'll have to sort of take a longer journey to, but it remains a great dungeon to do, especially for some of the gold making potential that it has. And I actually mentioned a lot of the gold making methods, including quests and other farming methods, in my gold making video, which I'll link down below. Anyhow, for Alliance, in addition to the first two that I just mentioned, you can of course also do the Stockades later on, which is also right in Stormwind. For some of the notable quests, on the Horde side, you can do Leaders of the Fang, which has you killing all the bosses in the Wailing Caverns. And then there's also some quests that are shared by both factions, primarily in Wailing Caverns as well, such as Deviate Eradication that'll give you some decent rewards. Next, for Shadowfang Keep, you can also kill Erugol on the Horde side for an actual ring, because rings are pretty hard to come by at early levels. This actually gives you 8 stamina as well, so it's going to be quite strong indeed. On the Alliance side, the Defias Brotherhood questline is a great one to do for the Deadmines. You'll start this one out in Westfall, and just proceed with the quest chain until you get to the last one, and have to complete it in the dungeon to get your rare rewards, so your blue items. Sometimes these quests are able to be picked up straight away to have these like blue or decent rewards, but occasionally there are certain quest lines that you have to follow first to progress into the actual quest that has you killing stuff in the dungeon to unlock the best rewards. And so with that, I will also link a Dungeons Quests guide from Wowhead in the description box below for your reference. And on to our third quest category, we have Zone Quests, which are largely sort of culminating quests in the quest line for each zone that'll give you the best rewards in general, but not always. But anyhow, starting with the Horde side, we have a really notable one for the Horde side is Warsong Supplies, which has you gathering resources from all over Ashenvale, which will also happen to be a sort of contested PvP zone. This will actually make the quest a little bit perhaps harder for the Horde. Although the quest rewards are extremely good, they are all blue rewards, and that's a very rare thing for a sort of normal zone quest. Onto the Alliance side though, not to forget your Alliance players, a pretty good couple of rewards will come from Duskwood, and these are sort of later on quests in the zone where you basically get sent to the Western Cemetery region to kill 2 different encounters or bosses, one of them being Morbent Fell, which will give you these following green rewards, and then the Embalmer is another one, a quest chain that'll give you some decent rewards as well. And definitely check out the quest rewards before you actually consider, you know, doing these quest lines. You can still do them for experience and like vendor gold, and if you happen to just go into the area for leveling, but some of these rewards are pretty specific to specific specs, so do take note of that. And here's a list of some additional quests and the rewards for you to consider. Again, if you're able to scrape together some good rewards from some of these quests, as well as the aforementioned categories like dungeon quests and even just dungeon drops, you should be pretty well set for level 20's dungeon farming and maybe even be able to get into the raid fairly soon, or even try your hand at PvP. And onto category 4, we have quests that provide non-gear rewards, but sort of miscellaneous rewards that can still be kind of useful, like certain consumables. I actually found a helpful Reddit post that was meant to cover hardcore classic WoW, but I think this will be pretty relevant for Season of Discovery as well, seeing as a lot of these are sort of low level yet really useful items and can be good in certain clutch situations and PvP, of course. So for instance, if we look at the infographic, there's rewards like the really sticky glue that'll allow you to immobilize targets on the Horde side. The Alliance side, they have bag of marbles that'll decrease targets' chances to hit. And then on the Horde side, there's also a really cool one, Slumber Sand, that you can get from Brill and Tirisfal Glades, or a quest from there. Back to Alliance, there's a quest item called the Light of Rune. It'll basically make you immune to all damage to spells for 10 seconds. Kind of like a Divine Shield, right, for Paladins, but it is a one-time use. So this is a lot more useful for hardcore, but kind of a nifty reward nonetheless. And then last but not least, also on Alliance side, so even though I think Horde gets some of the better sort of consumable rewards, at least from these low level quests, the Alliance side has a really cool quest if you're into pets, which is the Westfall Chicken pet quest that you'll be able to, I recommend creating a macro just to spam /chicken at any chicken, and with the special feed that you get from this NPC in Westfall, you'll be able to tame your very own chicken pet. And lastly, even though this is kind of a self-explanatory type of quest or category, I thought I would throw it in anyway, given how important it is to this season, as well as your character's power. And that is rune unlocking quests, with these runes being these new abilities that you'll be able to engrave on specific pieces of your gear. So obviously these quests are extremely important, and minor spoilers here if you haven't yet started playing or haven't unlocked these yet, so you have been warned. But essentially the first rune engraving quest will not only come with your first rune, but also a piece of gear for you to put it onto. And you'll be able to get this in your starting zone for whichever race and class that you start with. Be sure to pick up that quest, I think, from your class trainer as well. And definitely do it to unlock the rune and piece of gear as quick as possible, because that'll be an enormous power spike to your character. And by the way, these quests tend to not have the most obvious objective, so if you're sort of a secret hunter or want to embody the spirit of exploration, which this season is very much about, and discovery of course, you can sort of go into it blind. I would recommend doing so. But if you also want to, you can check out all the currently revealed rune obtaining methods and locations on Wowhead, where it'll be updated as people discover all the runes if they haven't done so already. Again, not all the runes will come from quests, but the ones that do, you want to be sure to get those done as quickly as possible if it fits your spec. And that is pretty much it for my quick video on essential quests to do for the Season of Discovery. Let me know if you have any other suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply to your comment. Consider subscribing to my channel for more cutting edge guides on the Season of Discovery. And with that, I will catch you in the next video or on Azeroth. Peace.